I hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a fly somewhere. I think he's gone. He went that way. Oh. Oh, hey there. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. God. What's up, everybody? Roman Miranda here. Welcome to episode 25 of the Uber NYC Guide Show. Yeah, I know a little bit of sign language. What's up? All right, so I wanted to do another episode on the customer service pillar category of this show and talk about conversation. I want to talk about how to hold a conversation with a passenger. I want to talk about how do you know if someone wants to chat, and I want to talk about what to do if somebody doesn't want to chat. So let's get into it. Awesome. So you're kicking ass. You're getting a bunch of 5-star reviews, but sometimes you feel a little awkward and you don't know if someone wants to chat. So how do you know if somebody wants to chat with you? How do you know if they don't want to chat with you? How do you know if they want to they wanted to in the beginning and then they don't want to? And how do you hold a conversation once you do start talking? So this is something I have to admit it's a natural strength of mine. Holding conversation and moving conversations along is something that I've always been good at. And this is something that's kind of like, maybe a little bit, I might miss some things because I just do them naturally. So I'm trying to think about like, okay, well, what if I wasn't that type of person? And what are the things that I listen for and that I pick up on that I don't really know that I do. So this is one of those topics where I'm gonna ask for you to please comment below. Let me know what things you're struggling with. Give me specifics, situations that you're in. This could be about just life conversations, like how do I talk to somebody at the bar, if you want to bring up that sort of a situation, maybe I can help you out with it. But let me know in the comments if I'm if I'm breezing over this, or if there's something you want me to dive deeper into, because this is one of those things that I'm just naturally good at. I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but yeah, it's something that I'm naturally good at. So I might miss something. So let me know in the comments if there's something that I'm moving too fast on. Here's kind of it's weird. It's kind of hard to break this down, but when someone comes in the car, it's energy level is so powerful. I really think it's a big, if you come oh, he's back. I saw him. Sorry, we got a visitor on this episode. There's a little fly. If you, God, I'm ADD. So if your passenger, energy level. Okay. It's all about energy level. If you come into a room and the room is kind of like, everyone's kind of quiet and they're sipping cocktails and everyone's like kind of, in the corners, then that's like the vibe, right? And then it's got low energy. But if you go into and there's some crazy dance music going on and everybody's jumping around, then you can feel, you feel that energy and it's like, whoa, there's like a different energy here. Same with when someone comes in your car. If you do the script, I'll link the script episode here. Make sure you use the script down here or here. Then that's gonna help them feel comfortable, but the energy level on how you say that is also equally important. Being really bubbly, saying like, hey, what's going on? How's your day? Turning it on. You gotta switch it on. I don't care. I do not care how tired you are. I do not care if you've been driving for 11 and a half hours and you're picking up one more fare to catch 12 hours in your day. And I want you to treat that customer the same way you treated the first customer in the day. So turn it on. That's like this is like entrepreneurial alert. You know, you gotta learn how to turn it on when you don't want to turn it on. I'm turning it on in this video right now, and I don't want to be turning it on. I'm running off of a couple hours of sleep over the past 48 hours, but I'm still psyched to be making these videos. So you got to turn it on. You got to learn how to do that. Now, if someone comes in and you got a high energy level and you're saying, hey, what's going on? How you doing? You know, and you say the little script, and then you say, you know, so how's your day going? You know, you say something like that. Here's one of those things that I do. It's the way that I'm able to carry good conversation and just generally am good at networking and things like that. It's all about active listening. You really gotta listen. You gotta turn your ears on and not just hear them, but listen to them, okay? You don't wanna hear, you do wanna listen, okay? It's all about keeping your ears open. You wanna, okay, so let's run into an example. Let's say you have someone jump in the back, you say, hey, how's your day going? And then they're like, oh, it's good. And then you kind of look back in the rear view, or you sneak back and you see they're on their phone. So stop talking. You know, they're on their phone, they want to do their thing. You were as bubbly as possible, you gave them the script, like you're good. And, you know, maybe later on, halfway into the trip, 3/4 of the way into the trip, if you look back and you see that they're off their phone and they're just looking out the window, then maybe you can try and strike up conversation again. But you also, it's like this fine line. You don't want to be annoying, okay? The worst thing you want is someone leaving a review that this person was a chatterbox, or they didn't want, you know, they would never shut up, or whatever it is. So be respectful of that person. Be respectful that maybe they don't want to chat, okay? Now, let's do the opposite situation. Maybe they jump in, you say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And they're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, no, I'm having a good day. Or even what's happened to me is I might say, you know, okay, cool, it's going to be 25 minutes. Let me know if you have any blah, 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 the script. And then they say to me, so how's your day going? What's going on? You know, then you know that this person, if they started it, they engaged you, then you gotta turn it on. You gotta start saying, you gotta let them know how your day is. Let them know, you know, and this is an interesting thing. Be authentic. Like don't start lying just because they're a customer. I think that's really important. You know, if you're having a bad day, we're like, well, you know what, my day's not going so great, and blah blah blah, and like, you know, and maybe let them. But then always be positive though. I'm a very optimistic dude. You know, these are those situations where it's like I'm a little bit of a contradiction, but it's like, you know, I want you to say the truth, but I want you to be as positive as possible at all times. That's something that I think that I have that balance, and I think it's totally doable. Whenever I'm having a tough day and I say, oh, I'm having a tough day, but you know what, like things are great. You know, I always think, again, I'm a long-term thinker, you know, like, oh, I'm annoyed right now because of blah, but you know, I'm sure you've been annoyed about this. You know, relate. Conversation is about relationship. Okay, it's about conversing with another person, right? Relationship, the root word there is relate. So how can you relate to that person? How can you create a relationship? So if you're you know, trying to figure out a way, if you're actively listening and you can listen for something that they say that you can relate to in some way, then that's a great way to start conversation. Empathy and putting yourself in that person's shoes and saying that, you know, oh yeah, I can totally relate. Like I've had, you know, this happened to me, like X experience that was similar. Humor, I'm a huge fan of humor, if you can't tell by any of these videos. I like humor. I think that's a great icebreaker. Figuring out a way to relate to someone else's whatever, their hardships through humor is a great way to get someone to smile and like you and want to continue the conversation. So it's all about just reading the other person. Listen for what I like to do. Again, I'm trying to break down what I do, which is a little difficult, but I think one of the things that I do well is I listen for the way that somebody says something. If they say a particular thing, if you're talking about, I don't know, maybe you start talking about sports, I don't know. And then the person starts talking and you're talking about sports, and then they bring up a team, you know, like, oh, is that your favorite team? Just always dig, you know, dig a little bit. It's like you're the magician, you're trying to get the scarves, more scarves to come out of their mouth. Okay, so you gotta pull them out. You gotta ask with intelligent questions. You know, if they say, oh well, you know, they bring up sports, and then you hear them start to get excited about something, like, oh well, Steph Curry and blah 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 blah, and LeBron, and they start talking about that. Then you go, oh, so what, you know, like, why do you like Steph Curry more than LeBron? Boom, like someone might rant on that for 5 minutes. And the cool thing, the way that I know that I had a successful Uber conversation is when the end of the ride comes and I pull over quietly and I turn the hazards on and they're still chatting and we're finishing up a conversation and they go, oh shit, we're here? And that, my friends, is how you get a 4.9 rating, okay? That is how you're collapsing their time. You're making that ride seem quicker, okay? You're making a 25-minute ride seem like a 5-minute ride because they were enjoying themselves. Isn't it annoying how most of the time when you're having a good time, like on vacation or with your friends or the weekend or whatever gets you off, that it goes too fast, but then when you do the grind and the day-to-day and the things that you don't like, it goes really slow, right? Like mentally. So what you're doing by giving them a good experience and making things fun for them and they're having a good time, you're literally collapsing something that could have been boring for them, and now it's fun, and it feels like 5 minutes. Do you know how many people at the end of the ride have said, like, oh man, I can't believe we're here already? Like, that's when you know that you had a good conversation. That's when you know that you really gave them a 5-star experience, because you are it's about time. It's about time and about value and about entertainment. You know, like, these are different things that people they appreciate, and and if you're able to collapse their time and give them entertainment and value, then they're gonna love you. They're gonna love you. And there's tons of people that, I'll talk about this in another video, I guess, but like, you know, that I've gotten phone numbers, I've gotten new friends on Facebook, I've gotten new followers on Twitter, just because at the end of the ride, they're like, oh, you're a cool person that I want to hang out with again, you know? And you know, there's one guy I was talking about, we chatted for afterwards, you know, I'm going to make another video on serendipity, I'll call it, because I think that's a really important part of making this an interesting job for you as the driver. You got to let certain things happen. So I'll talk about that and some of the stories in another video. But yeah, you know, give them a really good experience, make good conversation, and practice. Test different things. Test things that you think will work. You know, again, it's all about that active listening. Listen, what's something that they say and the inflection in their voice goes up, or what's something where they start talking a little bit faster. You know, those are things that you can listen for. That's like tactical advice that you can listen for specifically, that you can then, whatever those words were, and like listen for some of those, listen for words that, you know, or topics that you can ask another question about, who, why, where, what, when, how, you know, type question about the thing that they got excited about. If they bring up their kids, oh, how many kids do you have? Or they bring up, you know, like whatever. And it could have been something the fact, you just got to listen for the fact that they even have kids, you know? Like maybe they were talking about sports, okay? And you were, and they're like, oh yeah, I went, you know, to the baseball game with my son the other week. And well, oh, how old is your son? You know? Oh, well, you know, my son, and then listen for how maybe they get lower. Maybe they don't want to talk about their son. So then you go back to sports. But then maybe they go, oh, well, it's great. Like we've been bonding so much recently. He's finally, oh, how old is he now? Oh, well, he's 12. You know, he's just getting to that age. Boom. Then it starts. And then they start talking, you know, and you make them feel comfortable just by the fact, you know how many people don't even feel heard, let alone understood, okay? This is something I got from one of my mentors, Evan Pagan. People don't even feel heard, let alone understood. So if you can give people that, the fact that, wow, somebody's listening to me today, then that's going to make them feel like a rock star. And then on another level, and this is like more advanced and even harder for me to understand how to explain how to do, but if you then can understand them and then you can relate and you can create that relationship and you can really build something out of nothing there, then you make them feel understood and you can relate to them more, then they're gonna love you. They're gonna love you, and that's how you become the second best Uber driver in Manhattan. All right. Well, I'm totally running over time here, so I'm gonna cut this short, or I'm gonna stop talking. I can obviously talk about this for a while. This is, I think it's really, really, really important life skill. This is not communication, relationships. This is not just about Uber. This is about how to make you a better person, a better human being, a better communicator, a better person in your relationships in your life. Okay, so this is just how you do it in a car. Okay, so I hope that helps. Use this as practice just in general for your life, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.